Google Analytics is a great tool. It gives you a lot of valuable information on who's visiting your website, what they are up to, and how you can make your online presence better. Google search is updated thousands of times a year, and they do this to improve the experience and the quality of the results that the users get. Pay special attention to your Google organic traffic. And this is because, again, Google takes away most of the searches. And you want your website to be Google friendly. You want Google to like your website.
Welcome, and thank you all for joining us for another Justia webinar. My name is Nina, and I'll be the moderator for today. Now, to kick things off, I want to introduce our speaker, Ana Hidalgo. Ana Hidalgo is a senior manager on Justia's SEO team, where she focuses on search engine optimization and search engine marketing. She has a BA in business administration with a concentration in marketing from Tecnológico de Monterrey. She is also certified in Google Ads and Google Analytics. With 12 years of experience, she helps Justia and its clients with SEO and SEM marketing strategies. The webinar presentation that you're about to watch will be approximately 1 hour, and Ana will be joining us afterward to answer any live audience questions. So if any questions come up that you'd like to ask Ana during the presentation, please feel free to submit them through that Q&A button in the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Now, without further ado, here is Ana to discuss Google Analytics 101, maximizing your website traffic's potential.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Nina, for that introduction. And thank you all for joining us in this Google Analytics one-on-one webinar. Google Analytics is a great tool. It gives you a lot of valuable information on who's visiting your website, what they are up to, and how you can make your online presence better based on this information. Google Analytics has many different sections and reports, and it would be really hard, almost impossible to do it in just one webinar. So we are going to focus on what's important. We are going to start with an introduction to Google Analytics. And here we're going to see just a little bit of the story of Google Analytics. Then we're going to go to the home dashboard and the reports snapshot. And then we will dive into the reports. We will see the traffic acquisition reports and how to get a traffic comparison graph. Then the engagement reports, and finally, the user reports. It's important for you to know that we are not going to go over how to set up Google Analytics in this webinar. So let's talk a bit about Google Analytics. Google Analytics was first launched in 2005, and it collects data and provides insights into a website's performance. It has undergone many changes and updates. First, it was just, Google Analytics. Then, after a while, it changed to Universal Analytics. And the latest one was released a couple of years ago, and it's known as Google Analytics 4, or GA4 for short. Which, to be honest, I think most of us hated it at the beginning. It was difficult to navigate. We didn't know where all the reports were. So it was a bit difficult to get used to it. But I think that after a while, we now are getting used to it, and we have come to terms with GA4 or Google Analytics 4. As I mentioned earlier, we are not going to go over how you can set up Google Analytics 4. Your provider can help you. Or you can go into the Google Analytics YouTube channel or their marketing platform. You can see the links at the bottom of the slide, and you can find all the information that you need there to set it up. So with that, let's start with the home dashboard overview. You're going to have to go to analytics.google.com, and with your credentials, you should sign in. The first screen that you're going to see here is the homepage dashboard, which is a quick overview of everything that is going on your Google Analytics 4 property, and it's personalized to the user. So different users will see different dashboard components. For example, in this dashboard, you're going to see some cards. As I said, even if you log in at different times, you're going to get different cards. So it's not just by user, but also the different sections that you visit when you go to your Google Analytics. Here, for example, we're going to get a card with the view reports snapshot. This is just quick information to see how many users or events or key events, sessions, etc. you have. In this case, it's set off to the last 7 days, but you can change the days in the date picker. So you can make it 14 days or 28 days, or you can even set up specific dates that you'd like to see. Next to it, we're going to see the real-time widget. The real-time widget tells you how many people have interacted with your website over the last 30 minutes. Below that, you're going to see a quick links section. And this quick link section will take you to reports that you recently viewed. Let's say early today in the morning, you went to the Pages and Screens report. So Google will display this here so you can access it quickly. Or if you access the report snapshot, you will be able to access that from this particular link. Below that, you're going to see suggested for you. This is a section where Google will show you reports based on what you most use on Google Analytics for. So it can be demographics, it can be visitors, it can be key events. Again, it might change every time you log in, or for different users, might be different things. And the last part that you're going to see at the bottom of this dashboard is going to be the suggested reports or recommendations from Google. They will give you a bit of insights into what you would like to know about your traffic or your users. And you can set up different reports to view here. So this is personalized. So now that we've seen the dashboard, we're going to jump to the reporting section in Google Analytics 4, starting with the reports snapshot. The reports snapshot will take you to a dashboard with a lot of different sections. You can see that is at the home. Once you go from the home, you have to go to the reports. On the reports, a new window will open, and here you will see the reports snapshot. This is a quick and simple way to check out your Google Analytics reports. Basically, it's a summary of all the reports that you see within Google Analytics. And as I mentioned, we're not going to go into all of these reports in GA4, but we will go to the ones that we consider the most useful, for your practice. So when you go to the reports set of different reports, you're going to get on the left navigation bar, you're going to get a drop-down menu. And here you're going to be able to see a lot of different reports, from acquisition to engagement, monetization, etc. What are we going to see? Here in red, we have the reports that we are actually going to look into. Under acquisition, we're going to take a look at the traffic acquisition report. Under engagement, we're going to take a look at the event and pages and screens. And under user attributes, we're going to take a look at the demographic and tech details. So let's start with the traffic acquisition reports. I think these are probably the most useful reports in Google Analytics 4 because they give you the information that you want out of your sessions, what type of traffic you're getting and where are you getting it from. So to go here, you're going to click on acquisition on the left navigation bar. A new drop-down menu will open, and then you will click on traffic acquisition. That will take you to a new screen. This is the traffic acquisition report, and it is a detailed summary of how people find your website, broken down by different acquisition methods. So the report will tell you the channels where your users are coming from, like, organic search, social media, referrals, direct traffic, email, etc., etc. In this particular report, the default date is set up to the last 28 days. And you're going to see the traffic by the session primary channel group or the default channel group, which at the bottom of the graphic, below the graphic, you're going to see this card displaying. It's a list of the different default channel groups that you get on your website. So here you can see, for example, again, there's many of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. We're just going to see, I'm going to give you a bit of an explanation to the ones that we see in this particular report. So the first one we see is organic search. And this channel is in the one when users arrive to your site via organic search results. So that is Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc. Any of these different searches on these different search engines will result in an organic search. Then we have the direct traffic. And this is the channel by which users arrive at your site via a saved link or by entering your URL. If they key in at the top of your browser, they key in your website, whatever your website.com, that will count as a direct traffic. Then we had this unassigned traffic. And the unassigned traffic is when Google cannot give it a value. Sometimes Google cannot identify where that visitor is coming from, so they will add an unassigned tab to it. Then we see organic social, and this is when your visitors come from social media like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Let's say you did a post, and in that particular post, you put a link to your website, and people click on that link and they get to your website from an organic social media search. Then we're going to go to paid search. Paid search is like it says, it's paid advertising, and it comes from Google Ads or Bing Ads. So any of those, when you're paying, for your search results to show up at the top, and you have a little legend that says paid advertising. So that will be your ads. And at last, we have organic video. And this is when you have a video on YouTube or on TikTok or Vimeo, or you have it embedded on your site in any of these different video sites, and somebody plays it. That will be an organic video visit. It's not paid. You have also paid ads in these different video sites, but this is the organic one. You're not paying for these videos or for any information in these video sites to show up. So what's important to us? I would say that the key one, and the one that we're going to be looking to in this webinar, is going to be the organic search traffic. More importantly, we're going to be a bit more specific. We're going to go and look at the Google organic traffic. And why is that? If you see the numbers that were put out last week, Google takes away about 86% of the searches. It used to be 90%. It's going a bit lower, but it's still a very big percentage of the search from the internet. So to be able to see the Google organic traffic, there are different ways to do it in GA4. We're going to take a look at a couple of them, not all of them, because as I said, there are quite a few different ways to see it, but we're going to take a look at a couple of them. The first one is by filtering the table that we saw at the beginning. This is the easiest way to get to your Google organic traffic. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the arrow next to the session primary channel group, and we're going to get a drop-down menu. Here we can see it a bit better. In this drop-down, we're going to see different options. And to be able to see the Google organic, we're going to choose the session source medium. The source will tell you the specific place the traffic came from, such as Google, Bing, a directory listing, another website, social media. And the medium is going to tell you the type of traffic. Is this organic traffic? Is it referral traffic? Is it ads or paid social? So once we do that, we get a new updated table. And in this table, you can see now that we have the source medium. At the top of it, you're going to see Google Organic. And, usually Google Organic is at the top because, as I said, it's the search engine that gets the most traffic. But let's say that we just want to see the Google Organic. We're not going to go through all of them. We just want to take a look at the Google Organic traffic so we can analyze the traffic. So we're going to have to set up another filter. And how do we do that? We're going to have a little search box at the top of the list. And here you're going to key in the words Google/organic. It has to be done exactly in the same way that is displayed on the list. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. And if you see, now we have the Google Organic traffic just by itself. Another way to get to the Google Organic traffic is by adding a filter. And how do we do this? So we're at the top of the screen, you're going to see under traffic acquisition, you're going to see a little button that says Add Filter. Once you click on the Add Filter, you're going to get a new window opening on the right navigation of the website. And here, what you're going to do is you're going to build your filter. So for this one, we're going to key in the different sections. The first one is that we have to add a dimension. And the dimension that we're going to use, we're going to pick it from a drop-down menu that you see here. And we're going to select the session source medium, which is the same thing that we did when we did the search on the drop-down. Once we select source medium, we're going to have to match a type because we want to see just the Google Organic traffic. So you're going to get another drop-down menu with a list of different options. Here, you're going to choose the exactly matches. Finally, we have to key a value. So this value will be also picked from the drop-down menu that you see below the value section. And here we're going to choose the Google Organic. Once we have it, we're going to click on Apply. And we're going to get now our Google Organic traffic. You can see here that it says organic traffic, organic search, but even if it says that, this is just the Google Organic traffic. And how can we know that? Well, we can apply, again, the same filter that we did at the beginning. We can look for the session source medium in the search box. We can select the session source medium. And now we're going to have Google Organic displayed in the result. So that's the way that you're going to be able to separate your Google Organic from the rest of the traffic that you can see. So as we saw at the beginning, this traffic is set by default to the last 28 days. But what if we want to take a look at the numbers for each day? We want to know how much traffic we had each day for those 28 days that passed through. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add a new dimension. You're going to go to that part with the session source medium we have, and next to it, you're going to see a plus button. You're going to click on the plus sign, and you're going to get a new box opening. In this box, you're going to type in date, which is what we want to see. We want to see the traffic by date on these last 28 days. We're going to choose date, and a new window will display at the bottom. You can see it here. So here you can see the Google Organic traffic day by day by day in those 28 days that we had set up at the beginning of the search. So, but let's say, I don't want to see the last 28 days. I want to have a view to a full month. I want to know how my traffic was in March this year. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the date picker. And we'll do this by clicking on the dates that we have at the top right of the screen. Once we click that, we're going to get this box. And on this box, we're going to choose the different dates. You can see here that I picked March 1st to the 31st of March. Once we have that, we click on Apply. And now we're going to get the Google organic traffic for those days, for that particular month. But let's say, okay, I have my traffic for this month. But what happened at the same time last year? How was my traffic in March in 2023? Well, Google also gives you an option to compare your traffic. So you're going to go again to the date picker and you're going to click on it. And by scrolling down, you're going to see compare. You're going to activate that compare button. And then you're going to choose the same period last month. That way, you're going to have the month of March from 2024 compared to the month of March in 2023. You're going to click on apply, and now you're going to get your traffic for those dates. You can see it here. You can see the one, the first date from 2024 at the top, and then you can see the 2023 at the bottom. And you can see the comparison and the traffic difference between those dates. So this is your graphic that you get from doing, all that filtering. But if you were familiar to Universal Analytics, you will notice that this graph does not show the comparison graph like it used to do in Universal Analytics. This is the way it used to look in Google Analytics when you look for the traffic acquisition report. So since we do not get this in GA4, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show you how you can get something similar to this so you can analyze your Google organic traffic in an easier way, if you can say it like that. So we're going to go to the traffic comparison graph. The traffic comparison graph is a great way to see how your traffic behaves through time. And if there's a drastic change in your traffic, it will help you analyze the changes. It will tell you when it happened. So you can see if that change in traffic happened when you updated some content, or if there was a Google algorithm change, or if you changed your domain. So that's why we want to look into this traffic comparison graph. And how are we going to do this? Okay, we're going to have to go to the reports snapshot from the traffic acquisition. So you're going to click on the link to the reports snapshot, and you're going to get a new window. This new window will show you a graphic with the data and the days that we had set up in the traffic acquisition report. So you can see here that we have the dates from March from March 2024 compared to the dates in March 2023. But this report is now for all users. It's not just for the Google organic users that we saw before. Because we have to go into a different report. So what we want to do in this case, and in order to be able to compare, a more decent amount of time in traffic, we're going to do it for, let's say, 3 months. You can do it for 6 months. You can do it for a year, whatever works best for you or the time that you want to analyze. Then you can do that by using, again, the date picker. Here I chose to look at the dates for the last 3 months. And I want to compare them to the same 3 months from last year, but I want them to start at the same day. I want them to match the day of the week, because that's going to give me a better idea of how the traffic is behaving. Traffic is not the same on a Saturday, on a Sunday, on a Monday. So if I just leave the dates, to be exactly the same, let's say February 1st to April 30 from 2024 to February 1st to April 30 to 2023, I'm not going to get the match day for the week. So it's not going to be that simple to compare. That's why we're going to do the same period last year, but we're going to match the day of the week. So now we have the graphic with the comparison for the last 3 months matching the day of the week. But as I said to you, this is for all traffic, not just for the Google organic. And we really want to know the Google organic traffic to our website. That way, we will know if any changes on traffic come from a Google update. or if they change when we change content on our website. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter again, but this time we're going to do it through a comparison. The reports snapshot does not have the filter part. They do have the ad comparison part. So that's how we're going to do it this time. It's very similar to the way you add filters. So we're going to click on the ad comparison and we're going to get a new screen, a new box opening on the right-hand side. This box would allow us to add the different dimensions that we need to filter out the Google organic traffic. So again, just like we did before, we're going to go to dimension and we're going to pick the session source medium. Then we're going to go to exactly matches. And finally, we're going to add the Google organic value. We're going to click on apply. And now we're going to get our graphic that will show all users and will also show the Google organic traffic. We're going to remove the all users so we can actually look just at the Google organic. So we're going to click on the X and that will make it disappear. Now on this graphic, we only have the Google organic traffic. I'm going to close the edit comparison so we can see the graphic in a larger size. And there we go. Now we have our Google organic traffic graph with the custom dates from February 1st to the 30th of April, 2024. And we're going to compare it to the February 2nd to May 2nd from 2023, which is when it's matching exactly the same dates. Now here we're going to see that if we hover over the graph, we get a pop-up. And this pop-up will show you the specific date and the traffic variation from year to year. At the top of the graph, you can see also the traffic, the users and the new users. And you can see that this particular website had a drop in the traffic from last year for the same months to this year. In the case of this traffic, of this particular website, it's because the website used to target 2 different localities. And at some point, they decided that they were only going to target one locality. So they took away content and they separated the 2 localities in different websites. So once you move the content over, the traffic, for obvious reasons, will go down. You don't have the same amount of content. But that's not the only reason why Google Organic can have a change in traffic. There are other different reasons to get a change in Google Organic traffic. One of them is Google algorithm updates. Google search is updated thousands of times a year. They will tell you that they change their algorithm almost every day, a few times. And they do this to improve the experience and the quality of the results that the users get. You know, if you have read or you're aware of the changes this year, we had a very, very big core update in March. This update was targeting spammy, low quality content on search. And this update affected quite a few websites. But this could be for, also for good. If you have a really, really good website and your content is really good and you give useful information, then a Google algorithm update can make your website gain traffic instead of losing traffic. Changes to content. Like we saw on this website, moving content, deleting content, even adding content can make a difference in your Google organic traffic. If you add good quality content, most likely see your traffic go up. If you move content from it or you delete content, this, might result in a drop in traffic. Low and high quality content. If you add low quality content to the website, sometimes Google is not going to take it into account and they're not going to index it. And even in some cases, Google will see it as an overall detriment to your whole website, and that could mean a drop in traffic. On the other hand, if you actually add useful content that it relates to your practice area, that gives valuable information, that is updated then you're going to see your high quality content rewarded by Google. And you'll see, a bump in your traffic instead of drop on your traffic. Low or high quality links. So links, even though, Google has been discounting them for some time now, links are still important to Google, but not in the same way. As I said, low quality links have been discounted for quite a while now. And spammy links, same. So if you used to have a lot of these low quality links and they were giving your website a boost, and then Google said, no, I don't like these links. They're not good quality. And they took away the value from them. You'll probably see your website losing traffic because your ranking might change as well. On the other hand, if you have high quality links, then you're going to see completely the opposite. And how do you create high quality links? Well, you do this by creating, high quality content. If you have seen any other of our webinars on content or SEO, you can take a look at some of them where we talk about the different ways to build links, to make high quality content, etc., etc. Changes in SERPs. So Google has not always looked the same. Google has changed through time. And if you take a look at the results now, you're going to see probably at the top that you get feature snippets, and then you get the maps, and then you get LSAs, and then you get a carousel on the right side. And now your Google organic, it's going to go down and down. And that obviously affects click-through rate. But what happens if the feature snippet is yours? If your website is showing up for the different questions and answers, or if your website is showing up on maps or on the knowledge graph, then your traffic is going to see a bump, because of those Google display searches. Then we have technical issues. And these technical issues can be from changing your domain name, which has a history, it's built the history through time, and it has built links on its own for a while. And if you do a domain change and then you don't do the proper redirects, or you do incorrect redirects, then your website might suffer a loss of traffic. If you change your domain and you do it in the right way and you create redirects, then you're not going to lose that traffic. And finally, I'm not saying these are all the reasons, why you can see a change in Google Organic, because there can be many, many, many reasons. But these are, I think, the ones that we see most often. And the last one is a manual action. A manual action is issued, when a site goes against Google spam policies. And this manual action is issued by a person. Google has reviewers, and these reviewers are humans. And these humans will go into your site and they will take a look at the site. And if they see things that they don't like, then they will issue a manual action. And this manual action, can be very detrimental to your website. So try to always follow, Google, Google gives you different guidelines, and all these guidelines are made for revision. So try to follow them as close as you can, and then you will see the results in your traffic. So now we're going to jump to the engagement reports. These engagement reports, they provide a user-centric approach. So what I mean is they go actually to what the user is doing on your site. They track the engagement, how they interact with your website. So here you will be able to see things like page views, or events, how many clicks a button on your website had, or was a contact form filled out on your site. So to get to these engagement reports, we're going to click on the left navigation bar on engagement. We're going to get a drop-down menu. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is the key events. So I should mention here, key events is something recent. Google changed the name from conversions to key events. So if you don't see key events yet, don't panic. It's okay. This update is still rolling out. So you might not see even conversions or key events. You might see just events. But these will get updated sooner or later. So again, don't panic. You can still see your events through the events section. At this point in time, I'm going to show you key events because that's the way that it's going to work from now on. And why did Google did this? Google changed it because conversions was already part of Google Ads, and it was getting a bit confusing to have conversions in Google Analytics work and conversion in Google Ads. So once you go into the key events, you're gonna get a new screen. And this screen is gonna show you these key events that were previously set up. I mean, we set up this before for each one of our clients. And for Justia, we have form conversions, we have phone text contacts, and phone call contacts. If you're not a Justia client, you might see different key events depending on your setup or on your provider setup. So the form conversions for Justia, when somebody fills out the contact form on the website and hits send. The phone text contact is when somebody clicks on the tap to text button. And the phone call contact is when somebody clicks on the tap to call button. Then we're going to go to the pages and screen reports. Here we will see the pages that what traffic generates each of the pages that we have on our website. So when we click on the pages and screens, we're going to get a list of the different pages on our site, and we're going to get the page views and the users that are visiting your website. You can see a list here, and in legal websites, you're usually going to see that the homepage takes most of the traffic. Then you're going to see probably the attorney profile, the contact us page, reviews, and then your most important practice areas. And now we're going to take a look at the Google Organic, because as I said, most of these reports, when you get to them, they will show you all the traffic. But we want to take a look at the Google Organic Traffic Report. Now, let's say that you have, your traffic is higher on Bing. Then, well, you can go and make this report just filter it out for Bing. Or if you get a lot of visitors from a particular directory, or you have a directory listing and you want to know how your visitors are getting to, or what pages your visitors are looking at, you can do the same filter for them. But for this webinar, as I said, the purpose is to look at Google Organic Traffic. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a comparison again. And we're going to build this comparison just like we did before. We're going to add a dimension, which will be session source medium. We're going to get the match type, which will be exactly matches. And we're going to add the value, which will be Google Organic. We're going to click on apply. And that will give us our Google Organic traffic. So here you can see that we have the old traffic and the Google Organic traffic on the right side. What we're going to do is we're going to remove that page so we can see the rest of the screen, and we're going to remove all users. So we only get the Google Organic traffic to our pages. Once you remove the users, you get the sessions first medium exactly matching Google Organic. And there we go. Now we have our page views for this specific Google Organic traffic. We want to know how the Google Organic traffic is to your pages, of our pages, to see what people are searching for. This can help you work on more pages related to the different topics that people are looking at, or they can help you improve pages that are not getting traffic. If you notice a page is losing traffic, or you think a page is not getting enough traffic, this is the way to see how you can help that particular page rank better or get better information. Let's say that we want to take a look at the homepage, because as I said to you, the homepage is the one that takes away the most traffic. And it will be helpful to see how the traffic to the homepage behaves. So we're going to add a filter to this graphic. Again, the same way we did before, we click on the add filter. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to filter out by the page we want to see. So on the dimensions, we're going to add the page path and screen class. In the match type, we're going to do the exactly matches. And in the value, we're going to do the homepage. For just your websites, the homepage will be reflected as a slash. We're going to click on apply. And now we have the traffic for our homepage. Again, you can filter this traffic out to make it for the dates that you want to see. If you want to compare it to previous times, if you want to compare 1 month to another month, again, you can filter out, you can create a custom report for the different dates, and you can choose whatever dates you want to see. Here, I decided again to look at the last 3 months for this year, and I'm going to compare it to the same period, matching the day of the week last year. I'm going to click on apply. And now we have, our new box with the traffic for Google Analytics, and we're going to compare it to the last year. And there we go. You can see the difference in percentage as well. Now we're going to go to the user reports. The user reports offer valuable insights into specific characteristics that each user brings to your site, such as, where are your visitors located? What browsers or devices your users prefer? So first, we're going to go into the user attributes, and here we're going to look at the demographics. The demographic details will tell you basically where is your search or where is your user searching your website. If you click on the demographic details, you will get list. If you see it here, it's going to be a list of countries. And in the case of Justia websites or our clients, it's usually the United States, the one with the highest traffic, because that's, where the practice of our clients is. Here we have it. But what if we only want to look at the United States traffic? We don't want to see the rest. So again, we're going to have to filter out just the same way we've done before. We're going to add a filter. We're going to build it this time in dimensions. We're going to add the country. In a match type, we're going to add the exactly matches. And we're going to add the value of the United States. Once we click on apply, we're just going to get the matches for the United States, as you can see here. And now you have your United States traffic. But again, maybe we just not want to look at just the United States traffic. We want to go further, and we want to know what states are the ones that we get most traffic from. And here we can add another filter by clicking in the arrow next to the country. Once we do a click, we're going to get this new box, a drop down, and we're going to choose region. Once we choose the region part, we're going to get the actual states where we're getting traffic from. In this case, you can see California, Florida, Texas, etc., etc. But let's say, that I only practice in California and I just want to see the cities, or I just want to see what cities that we're looking into. So we want to go back and take a look at just the cities. And for that, we're going to do the same. We're going to do the search, but instead of choosing region, we're going to choose the city. And now we're going to get a list of the cities that we have. So in this case, you're going to see the different cities: New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, etc., etc. Here at the top, you can see not set. And this is something that we come across different sections of the reports in GA4. And this is because Google doesn't have enough information to tell you where this visitor is coming from. So they might be using a VPN, or they might have a privacy setting that Google is not able to use or see where the traffic is coming from. And that's why they use the not set. Now we're going to go at the tech reports. The tech reports will tell you tech details. And even if they don't seem that important, they can be helpful for different purposes. When you click on the tech details, the first thing you're going to see is the browsers. These browsers is, what your users are using to get to your site. And as I said, it might not be very meaningful But if we filter this out and instead of looking at the browsers, again, we use the search box at the top and we click on the browser, we're going to get a drop down again. And on this drop down, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the device category. And the device category, it's going to tell us if people are using mobile, a desktop, a tablet, smart TV. And as we have done previously, again, we can filter this out just to make it Google organic traffic. So we will add a filter. We will build our filter again using the same things. Session source medium exactly matches Google organic. We click on apply. And now we get the Google organic traffic for these particular devices, mobile, desktop, tablet, etc. Why is this useful or important? Well, mobile devices have overtaken desktop traffic in most areas. In the legal practice, it's almost quite the case. So we need to know if our website is mobile friendly. We need to see if Google is looking at our website as a valuable resource that they can show or display on mobile searches now that they made the first mobile indexing. And that's why we want to take a look at this type of traffic. So that's it. I think we've gone through, the most important reports. I hope that you find these reports useful. It is a lot, of information to go over, but take your time, go through GA4, click on the different buttons, look at the different reports, find what's useful for you, for your traffic. And I'm going to go through some final points. And these are, you have this amazing tool that is Google Analytics. Look at it at least once a month. In a month, you can realize how your traffic is behaving, how your users are getting to your site. You can do it every week if you like, especially if you have a very large website with a lot of content, you might want to do it more often. But if you have just a regular, normal size, you have your practice, take a look at it at least once a month. Pay special attention to your Google organic traffic. I cannot stress this enough. And, you heard me and you saw me filtering out the traffic and the reports over and over again. And this is because, again, Google takes away most of the searches. And you want your website to be Google friendly. You want Google to like your website. So if you really pay attention to what Google wants, and you create a website for the users, Google wants to give users the best experience. They want to give users the best results. They want to show them what they are actually looking for. So that's why you need to pay attention to your Google organic traffic. Then you're going to look out for drastic changes or sustained negative trends or even upward trends. If you see a change in your traffic, something is going on. Did your content change? Is your content outdated? Was there a change in your URLs? Did you gain or lost links? So try to look for that and then try to find a reason of why your traffic changed. And monitor Google algorithm updates. Google, as I said, it's changing their algorithm constantly. They change it all the time. They want to make it better. Where can you monitor this? Well, you can use the Google search block. Every time they do an important update, they will put a post out there, especially if it's a core update. Or you can look at resources like Search Engine Man, which is a very good publication with a lot of SEO valuable information and with a lot of Google valuable information. So with that, I will thank you. I think we have some time for questions. If there are any, I think we can go through them. Nina, I'll send it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna. And as she mentioned, we will now move on to audience questions. So if you have any questions for Anna, please feel free to submit them through that Q&A button in the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Looks like we've already got a couple, so we can go ahead and dive right in. Okay, our first question is going to be, how does GA4 differ from Universal Analytics?
Okay, so Yes, they are a bit different, especially in the way they measure traffic. Universal Analytics used to measure sessions and page views. And now GA4 measures events and parameters. So that's one big difference. Another one is we used to look a lot at the bounce rate in Universal Analytics. Well, it's no longer there. Why? Because now Google wants you to focus on the engagement. They want to know what people are doing on a website rather than just visiting a page of website. Also, there were a lot of concerns with privacy. So now the IP addresses are anonymous. They didn't used to be like that before, but now in Google Analytics they are. Another thing, and something that we don't like very much, is that now Google Analytics it only allows you to retain your data for 14 months. Universal Analytics, we had years and years of information in there. So that's, a bit trickier. You can still get your data if you use, other tools where you can save all these data. But in the past, you used to be able to do it with Universal. Another thing is GA4 has machine learning. And you can see that, when I see in the different reports that I told you that some of them were personalized, well, it happens because Google learns how you using your Google Analytics. They also have the cross device reporting. If you have an app, your website, you can measure it that way. And as I said, events are more important now. So Google comes with sort of a setup now that they have automated events tracking. You can create more, but they have a setup, already in GA4. I think those are probably the biggest changes that you will see.
Thanks for clarifying that, Anna. Our next question is, how do I check if GA4 is installed correctly on my website?
Okay. So, well, hopefully you have some, an expert or someone that really knows how to install, your GA4, because it can happen. If you don't put the measure ID correctly on your back end, if you don't add the snippet in the right way, well, Google is not going to track anything, or it's going to track it in the wrong way. So how can you see? You can actually use the same Google Analytics, the first report that we went in, the home dashboard. And you, as I said, you have on the right-hand side, you have like the live information. So in that live information, you will see if there are any actions. So open your website, click on different buttons, and that should reflect on those real-time data, section that we get. There are other ways, there's the Google Tag Assistant, which is a tool that you can download, and that way you can check the different snippets that you have on your site. But I think the easiest way to do it is just going into the real-time report.
Awesome. Thank you. Our next question is, can you explain how event tracking works in GA4 versus the Universal Analytics page view based tracking?
Okay. This is the question that comes very often, and I think we all had it at the beginning because we weren't sure how it was tracking. So, with Universal Analytics, the page tracking was done when a person or a user will go to a different page on the website. If someone went into the site and went into a page, that will get tracked. So it was just like a counter, like going here, going there. I'm counting how many times you visit that particular page. So it was quite basic. But with event tracking, it's different. With event tracking, Google sees, you go into the site and you have a form that you can download, or you have a book that you can download, or a video that you can watch on the page. So now Google is going to track, if you watch that video, if you open that that book, or if you downloaded that link, Google is going to be able to report that, and that's why they have the events and the key events that you can set up. And they also come with the events. Every time you open a page, it will generate an event on Google Analytics 4. So if I can say just simple, it's Universal Analytics. It was just like counting how many pages people see. And GA4, it's more like, okay, you see a page, but then you click here and then you click there. So it's like having many tabs open and you clicking on all of them. That I think it's how you can, see the difference on the tracking.
Got it. Thank you. And a similar question here, just further clarification. What's the difference between conversions and key events?
Okay. So it wasn't. There didn't used to be one. And this was a very recent change. This changed over the last couple of weeks. And it's still happening. So maybe that's why I mentioned you might not be able to see key events and it's still on your GA4. But a lot of websites use also advertising, paid advertising. And Google has Google Ads and they have the organic. And when they were measuring, when somebody had both of them, it was very difficult to differentiate what was a lead from a Google paid ad and a lead from Google organic. So that's why they separate it. That's the difference. One is the key event that it comes from Google, not paid advertising, and conversions are for paid advertising.
That makes sense. And then a couple questions about labels that we might see in the GA4 interface. So one, when can a session be called engaged? And then what are event parameters?
Okay, so, but it's not as straightforward as you might think. Google gives you like very specific ways to see it, but they call an engaged session when it lasts longer than 10 seconds. I went in, I looked at a page, I click on an event, and I trigger an action. Or I go to your website and I land on your homepage, then I see something that I want to go into further, and I click on one of your practice area, and now I have 2 page views. So now you have engagement. It's not just looking at a page, but you actually interacted with that website. And an event parameter, again, Google gives you these guidelines. You have to set up your events in a certain way. So these parameters will give you additional information about an event. Again, if that was a video that you watch, then your parameter should be view video, for example. Or if it was a contact form that you filled out and you sent, then you have to have that, that parameter, contact form filled out. And that's how Google is gonna identify that type of visitor.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying. And then the last question that I think we have time for today is, what integrations does Google Analytics 4 offer?
Okay. So I think they did a good job on integrations. You can integrate your Google Ads. So, you can just go in, link your same Google Ads, and now you get all your information into GA4, which is very useful. Obviously, Google Search Console. I think if you use Universal Analytics in the past, there was a time where you could integrate a Google Search Console. But I think now they've done it in an easier way, and you can actually look at the information very straightforward way. Then you have the big query, because as I said, you only get 40 months of information. So what happens if you want to keep years and years of information? You probably want to use something like BigQuery or things like Firebase. So they do come with quite a few ways to integrate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anna, for all of that additional insight, and thank you all for all of your questions. We're going to wrap up for today. We want to thank you for joining us for another Justia webinar. As we discussed at the top of the webinar, how best to kind of utilize GA4 for your law firm website, I wanted to remind you all that we do offer website services through our website platform, Justia Elevate. Justia Elevate is our groundbreaking WordPress-based platform designed and customized specifically for lawyers and law firms. It integrates SEO-focused features and tools, including the premium version of the Yoast SEO plugin, as well as our newest features, the Justia AI Content Writer and the Justia AI Chat. If you'd like to learn more, please feel free to visit elevate.justia.com. and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on law practice and legal marketing. See you in our next video.